Sabres fans, it's time to get on your
Towels
feet
and Reed, we're back in Buffalo. Fly in the air ahead of game one on day 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Well, the late, great Rick Jeteret's family is here to do the honors and get this place fired up. Legendary announcer here from 1971 to 2022. His memory lives on. Time for the starting goaltenders. Jeremy Swayman Ray, one of the best goalies in the world, a .908 save percentage this year and an excellent bounce-back season.
The MVP of the Boston Bruins. The Bruins give up a lot of high-danger chances. Swayman stops them better than anyone in the National Hockey League. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is the #1 goaltender. He's thought to be that for years in Buffalo. He's won 3 years straight of 20 wins a year. He gets the start in game 1.
And away we go. Starting lineups come to you on the bottom of your screen, brought to you by Infinity. You check out the lines and pairs for Marco Stern, who's got James Hagens, the 19-year-old, as the left wing on the third line in his 3rd career NHL game after playing collegiately this year at Boston College. Victor Arvidsson with a sidestep on a great second line for the Bruins, who piled up 100 points in the regular season. Buffalo with 109.
And that line, Zacha's line, will be out against Thompson as much as the Bruins possibly can get here on the road.
Yeah, you see the Sabres lines. The Tage-Thompson line is their top unit. Thompson with a team-high 40 goals this year. Alex Tuch and Peyton Krebs join him, and this place is rocking as expected. Zadorov turned it over to Zach Benson, the 20-year-old former 13th overall pick. Got leaned on by the enormous defenseman Nikita Zadorov. Josh Doan tried to trigger. Zadorov lost his footing in the low slot, and the Bruins are out to center and touched along by Morgan Geekie with a team-high 39 goals this year, a career high. Marat Husnudinov on this young line. He's centered off the stick of Fraser Mitten and over the top of the net of Luukkonen. Hampus Lindholm the pinch out to center.
And the Sabres just got their young guys on the ice, Doan and Benson. Now the Bruins have their young group. James Hagens, just his 3rd NHL game on the ice.
Ryan McLeod, a drop shot got blocked as the Sabres triggered and Fraser Mitten collects. He's a 21-year-old, Hagens 19, Husnudinov 23. 23, a seam pass was intended for Hagens, collected by the Sabres. They are speedy in transition. Ryan McLeod pulls up, rink-wide feed. Here's a shot from Stanley that missed the net. 3rd pair defenseman. McLeod the key, skating it out high. Jack Quinn, one-timer Connor Timmins. And Swayman low. Lindy Ruff, 2nd year back as the Sabres head coach. Previously, 15 years as the head coach. A Sabres draft pick in 1979. He's been in the same house here for 22 years, Ray.
It is remarkable, Lindy back here in Buffalo. He says he talks about he likes the excitement around the team. He wants the players just to live it, to get into the game. Don't worry too much about the stage, but to get into the game and play. He coached the last series that the Sabres played. That was back in 2011.
He said earlier today, it's just a totally different feeling. No matter how big the buzz was the last few months of the regular season, all kinds of sellouts here, it is obviously a different animal. And so, Ray, how do you think they're going to manage the emotions that are coursing through their veins right now?
Well, I think a little bit of it is you just have to have that initial surge, your first shift. You want to get a puck touch, a body contact, just to get into the game, and then you can breathe a little bit. The hardest part of the game, I always found when you played for the first time or even the 10th time in the playoffs, is those first couple shifts till you can get into the spot and go, oh, it's just a game. It's a big game, it's a fast game, but it's just a game.
Both 4th lines on the ice right now. Tanner Jeannot plays it along into the corner. Mark Kastelik delivered a reverse hit on Josh Dunn. The Bruins do have a lot of size and a lot of physicality and want to play a heavy game.
They really do. The difference is the Sabres will run in transition. The Bruins want to get physical and make it a half-court game.
Dunn for Dahlin, slid along Matthias Samuelsson with a shot that goes high and wide. Bounces down into the corner. Dunn got checked. The Bruins scamper to the loose puck with Charlie McAvoy, the stud defenseman. Dahlin knocked it down, filtered it up ice for Beck Malenstein, but Jonathan Aspero there for the Bruins. Boston on Tuesday beat the Devils. That locked up the first wild card spot, kept him away from Carolina, gave him the Sabres. Grabs the drop for Tage Thompson, who had his pocket picked by Victor Arvidsson, who got dumped by Alex Tuch. Casey Middlestat motoring through center, a former Sabre greeted by boos. 7 years with Buffalo, former 8th overall pick. Puck was loose and then swept out of there by Peyton Krebs as Luukkonen gave up the rebound. Krebs in over the line, harassed by Andrew Peeke. Krebs filters one back to the line. Tuch flicks it in deep. Josh Norris side of the net, and Swayman earns a whistle.
The Bruins are one of the most physical teams in the league. Marco Sturm, their coach, says that they want to play that way. Now the Sabres are going to come out and try and get the body involved as well. Alex Tuch with a solid hit on Victor Arvidsson. I think it's really important as they get into this series. The Bruins are going to play this way because it's the way they are built. The Sabres can't change the way they're built. They're a team that is bigger than they used to be, but they skate. They get into transition. They can't start chasing hits to play the way the Bruins want to.
Sabres can really go. 5th in the NHL in goals per game. Rasmus Dahlin flicked it around. Mason Lohrei is hounded by Josh Stone. And David Pastrnak sauces out. Pastrnak, a 4th straight 100-point season, 100 on the nose. Thanks in large part to 71 assists this year.
And the only other two Bruins that have done that are Orr and Esposito.
Pastrnak fed one across to his center, Elias Lindholm, and now Buffalo counters with Zach Benson moving in. Fed it off to the wing, a shot off a stick in front. Keep at the right point from Doan. Josh Norris on the turn. Benson in behind, tied up by Lohrei, and the Bruins corral it. And Hampus Lindholm stays patient as Boston exits to center. Puck loose at center, stick up high. No high sticking called there as Pastrnak went reaching to his face. McLeod had it poked away by Aspero. Mitten gets checked by Mattias Samuelsson. Off the giveaway. Kusnedinov gets it back. A shot got blocked. Aspero fed it across. Aspero gets it left point. The rookie defenseman toward the net. That careened off a body and corralled by Fraser Mitten. Mitten in behind. Played catch with Kusnedinov, who jammed it along up the boards. Couldn't get it to the point. Puck still loose at the half boards. Wrestled for. His body's crumpled. Aspero the keep into space. McAvoy centers. And a diving play. Samuelsson. Net front feed. Puck loose bottom of the circle for James Hagans. McLeod got it to the line but not out. And finally Buffalo exits.
Heck of a block by Samuelsson to lay out and take away the McAvoy scoring chance.
23 in the blue. Mattias Samuelsson, top pair defenseman with Rasmus Dahlin. Centering feeds Zadorov. The defenseman swoops back. Sean Corrali wide of the net and grabbed by Beck Malenstein and banked to center. Chanot tried to work it deep. That got tied up at the blue line. Malenstein checked by Mark Kastelik, physical 4th line winger who supplied some scoring this year too.
Malenstein, Greenway, Corrali, Kastelik, Janot. Man, this is going to be a physical run when these two lines are on the ice.
Janot got tangled with Bo Byram, and we get an offside whistle just over 6 minutes in.
A racing pace through the first 6 minutes of this game. A couple of scoring chances and one taken away by Mattias Samuelsson.
Years is a sellout, the 25th of the season after only having 4 last year. And when tickets went on sale for games 1 and 2, 15,000 of the 19 were gobbled up by season ticket holders, which meant only 4,000 tickets were available to the general public. 30,000 people in the queue sold out in 15 minutes, which means the demand and the resale was high, over $400 of tickets, which Mike, the team, told me is over 3 times as much as the original price point.
Unreal. 457 the average. Incredible. And it feels like it. Pavel Zacha toward the net with Victor Arvidsson parked in front. Shot from the point. Gobbled up by Owen Power and skated out and moved to center. Rink wide, Tage Thompson drifting in. Thompson tried to go far post and high, and it caroms up and out of play.
This is a Sabre transition that is extremely dangerous, and it ends up on their most dangerous player's stick. Terrific look in the neutral zone here by Krebs as he goes around Zacha and finds Thompson. Thompson's one of the rare breed, a true one-shot scorer. He doesn't need a whole pile of chances to score. Jeremy Swayman makes a really good blocker save on the Sabres' most dangerous scorer. Man, quickly they came out of the zone. That's 2 quick passes. They cover 130 feet of ice and they're in the zone.
Tage Thompson will tell you, our speed is always a strength. Showed it right there. Timmins D to D, Stanley a drive, traffic in front as Norris crumples. Benson in behind on the pivot, pinned by Lohrei. Good time stop by Jeremy Swayman against Tage Thompson, who's making his Stanley Cup playoff debut. Banked along by Kastelik and out toward the logo and swooped back for Norris. Mason Lohrei for Hampus Lindholm, the Swedish defenseman up ice off Corrali's stick. Corrali back in the playoffs and his second go-round with the Bruins after 4 years with Columbus. This one vaulted to center, bounces down near Benson, and he's met there by the defenseman Andrew Peet. Josh Doan had it taken away. Doan's had a special season for the Sabres. 25 goals and a pest on that third line. Icing the whistle, we check out some numbers powered by the SAP Coaching Insights app. And again, the context. The Sabres tonight snapping a 14-season playoff drought, the longest in NHL history. First home playoff game since 15 years ago, Ray.
Once they get through this first period, none of this is going to matter anymore. I mean, the people are excited to be here for the first time in forever. The players, a lot of them have never played in a playoff game. Then you're just in a series. History's one thing, it's about now. And I've been really impressed, actually, with the pace and the confidence that the Sabres in particular have come out to play with. The Bruins, I expect them to play well. The Sabres have done a good job early here.
Sean Corrali sends one around in the direction of David Pastrnak, who got checked by Bo Byram. Morgan Geekie in behind, reassembled with Pastrnak and Elias Lindholm down the stretch. That is a heavyweight line for the Bruins, expected to supply scoring. Zadorov got it back for Pastrnak, drag and shoot, had it blocked, and Jack Quinn floats one out to center. Quinn gets it back, 20 goals for him this year. Good stick by the Bruins. This one comes in wide of Swayman. Byram filtered it around in behind. Quinn on it, centered! Right out in front for Jason Zucker, who got stuck by Swayman. Byram settles it down. Byram harassed by Elias Lindholm. Byram toward the net with traffic, and Swayman gobbles.
We've seen a little glimpse of the Sabres transition game. Now we see some of their mobility in the offensive zone. Bo Byram's going to get this puck and go all the way around the zone. He creates the chance. Quinn to Zucker. A late pickup by Swayman on that pass from behind the net. Zucker's right in the goal crease, but that's a strong positional save. You see the head of Swayman is still looking to his left. He hasn't picked up that Zucker is there. He's inside of Lindholm. That's the game's best chance. And Swayman's able to turn that aside.
You mentioned shot quality, Ray, that he faced this year. I mean, he was about as good as any goalie in the league all year.
The Bruins had a tendency, particularly early and then late, of giving up chances in the high danger zone. Nobody stopped them at a higher rate than Jeremy Swayman.
See, his 31 wins this year. He led the NHL in goals saved above expected. Let's check in with Arda O'Cal.
Mike, thank you very much. The Canadians in Tampa for Game 1 against the Lightning. Montreal down 2-1 late in the second. Only had 7 shots on net up until this power play where Juraj Slafkovsky ties it up with his 3rd career playoff goal. 2-2 after 2, Mike.
Arnard, thanks very much. Yeah, the Lightning had gone up on goals from Radish and Hagel about a half-minute apart after Montreal had struck first.
Oh,
Samuelson just dumps Murat Husnudinov.
went over him like a speed bump. What a check from Samuelson.
At 6'4", 229, tops of the shot, stopped by Swayman, who gathers the rebound.
The Sabres look like a young pack right now. They're energetic, they're physical. They've been up on their toes and really taken it to the Bruins here, as you might expect, in the first period. Husnudinov is about half the size of Mattias Samuelsson. He sees Samuelsson come, so he reaches to poke the puck away, and he knows he's going to get it. Honestly, that is playoff hockey. Every chance that you have at a loose puck is the most important chance you're going to have. It's way different than the regular season. Husnudinov knows he's going to get crunched, and he's still got to make that play. Samuelsson's had a really great year and a really great start to this series.
You just saw the note, 23 combined hits already, and that is exactly what we would expect. Face off to the left of Jeremy Swayman. Fraser Minten was in there. The Bruins corral with Murat Husnudinov.
And there he is. You got to jump back in, right? You're going to get it again, but jump back in, and now you start to settle into the game yourself.
Those three kids on that third line for the Bruins. You asked Marco Sturm earlier tonight when we chatted with him if there was any concern about their emotions. He said he is not at all concerned with those three youngsters.
I was really surprised with how confident it was. There's Marco Sturm in his first year, done a tremendous job here in Boston to get these Bruins to play in an aggressive fashion, to get them into the playoffs. I think that's the key of the third line right there. That's Fraser Minten. The Bruins, Don Sweeney picked him up in a trade last year for Brandon Carlo. They got Minten and a first for Carlo. They thought initially that Minten was going to start the year in the American League. And then Sturm said, we gave him a little bit in camp, and he did well. We gave him a little more, he did well. Pretty soon, Fraser Minten's got 17 goals and played all 82 games for the Bruins.
He led all rookies in the NHL in plus-minus. Plus 21 for Minten. Hampus Lindholm at center gets leveled by Beck Mallenstein, who this year set a Sabres single-season franchise record for hits. Mallenstein swats it in. Hampus Lindholm corrals and banks along for Casey Middlestat, and it's on to Logan Stanley. Midway point, first period. 6 combined shots in this game as Greenway leans on Laura. Arvidsson bracing for contact, turned it over. Greenway feathered it out for Dunn, who lost control. Arvidsson steps to it and skates it up ice for the Bruins. 25 goals for Victor Arvidsson, who had a great season. Couldn't connect with Middlestat. Arvidsson slow to get up. Dunn skates it back in for Buffalo and will pitch it deep. Lori avoided the heat-seeking Jason Zucker. Floated along through center and settled down by Dahlin, who was sensational this year. The Buffalo captain on the back end, one of the best defensemen in the sport. Zadorov for Pasternak. Pasternak in. A shot from Pasternak, swallowed up. Rebound, score! Morgan Geekie starts the scoring, and the Bruins have the lead.
The Bruins' top goal scorer with 39 in the regular season. Morgan Geekie's going to take a free puck off a Dahlin block, and his shot miscues a bit and is going to fool Luukkonen. Here's the Pasternak shot, the Dahlin block, and the puck will come right to Geekie. Geekie goes to shoot it. The puck is spinning when he shoots it, and it comes off his stick at an odd angle, and it beats Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen over the glove side. There's that puck. Watch it bouncing and spinning, and that is an erratic release by Geekie. He doesn't waste any time. He just wants to get it at the net. He's got some zip on it, and on the road, the Bruins have a 1-0 lead. Geekie really went through it right after the Olympic break. No goals in 17 games, yet still had 39 on the year. And we talked a little bit earlier, he and Pastrnak play so well together. Geekie really the beneficiary of Pasternak's tremendous play.
Yeah, he had that lengthy drought you mentioned. And then it was 5 goals the last 4 games of Geekie's regular season. So, boy, that is huge for the Bruins if he can be productive, because they're loading up the big guns again on that top line with Pastrnak.
Well, if he's not productive, they're not going to win the series. I mean, they need Pastrnak, they need Geekie to be on the board.
Here's a shot from Mitten, got blocked. After Morgan Geekie scores in 10:52, Pastrnak and Zadorov the assists. And what a start for the Bruins with all the emotion in this building tonight.
Well, you got to take a couple of body blows early on here. The Sabres have been really good in the first 10 minutes of this period, yet it's the one break into the zone, the shot and the block, and the the Geekie rebound is in the net. It's that quick, and now the Bruins can try and relax a little bit here and maybe push the game forward a bit from their end.
Geekie in behind draws a penalty against Buffalo. It's a hooking call against the Sabres, and Boston, already up 1-0, will go to the power play.
One thing that Lindy Ruff and the Sabres are going to have to deal with here, there's so much emotion and energy in the building, is that you don't let the game get away from you as you start to get all tied up in the game. There's the hook, Dahlin on Geekie. Geekie's got the game's only goal. His first of the playoffs. The Bruins on the road, a 1-0 lead, and they'll get the series' first power play when we return.
At 23%, but cold since the Olympic break.
Yeah, they really limped in from the Olympic break on. 1 for 10 in April, 1 power play goal and 11 tries against the Sabres, who are an excellent penalty killing team. They're aggressive, they get up into your face to take away time. They also scored 11 shorthanded goals this year.
What are the counters for Boston to that Sabres aggressiveness?
It's quick puck movement, it's decisiveness. Know your routes when you enter the zone, like right here now they're in. But when you get a chance, get it at the net and try and back the Sabres off. Look how they chase. Those 2 defensemen right back below the goal line. Now they're going to get a clear.
From Matthias Samuelsson, who had the initial pressure on David Pastrnak, like you said, coming right at the Bruins on the entry. Saw the numbers, Buffalo 4th best on the kill, to your point, at 82%. Lindholm for Zacha. Tied up across the line, and then Geekie tumbled, got it in deep anyway. Zacha around for Pastrnak. McAvoy out high, 61 points for him. Pastrnak, McAvoy, one-timer kicked out by UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. It's Pastrnak with a shot that soars high. Rebound drops down for McAvoy. Toward the wall for Geekie. Greenway leans on him. Filtered out for Lindholm. Now Pastrnak with a head fake, a drop. Elias Lindholm, back door, trying to connect with McAvoy. Oh, and Power collapses on him in the corner.
One thing about the Sabres in this pressure, you got Owen Power, who's 6'4", and Logan Stanley, who's 6'7". They take up a lot of room.
Loose in front, and Luukkonen covers as Elias Lindholm got checked into the crossbar by Jordan Greenway.
Yeah, the front of the net shouldn't be a friendly place as Lindholm's around there fishing for a rebound if he can find one. And Jordan Greenway, who's had a real difficult year health-wise, had hernia surgery, and then it just took him forever to get healthy and feel better, well enough to play. He's back in, and he'll just bury Lindholm into the net. And that burns off about a minute and a half of that power play. And a couple of good looks for the Bruins. Pastrnak with one really good chance.
24 seconds remaining on this man advantage. Out to Mason Lorod, looking back door! Off the iron on the one-touch from Victor Arvidsson. Spun around by Fraser Mitten away from Middlestat. The Sabres clear. Dahlin ready to emerge. He's out of the box, a successful and much-needed kill for Buffalo. 3 shots on that Bruins power play. Taken away by Taves Thompson, 6'6", lumbering through neutral ice. Delayed offside, and now Byram through center. Krebs and Buffalo offside on the entry. 5:38 to go in the first in game 1, and the physicality that you would expect in the postseason after this long drought in Buffalo.
By Marco to make that comment, to talk about his team, to try and take Buffalo out of their game a little bit if you can get them to bite. It happens, you wouldn't think so, but the players hear that and they often think, oh, I'll show them. I'll show them I'm ready to play in a physical game. Maybe that makes Tage Thompson do something that he wouldn't normally do. But Ruff really kind of pushed it aside quickly, and I mean, outside of the goal here, Buffalo's probably pretty happy with their game, and the Bruins would say, hey, for a road game, this is more than fine. A 1-0 lead 15 minutes in.
I mean, check that out. Buffalo's got 21 hits already. They averaged in the regular season 19 hits in the entirety of their games. Puck bounce toward Peyton Krebs, who draws a penalty on Nikita Zadorov for a cross-check. Zadorov led the NHL in the regular season in penalty minutes and has got to stay out of the box this series.
Yeah, this isn't a good penalty for the Zadorov to take. And
2-minute minus for cross-checking.
when his arms get extended, the cross-check will be called. He's in on Krebs. Look right here as he extends his arms through the low back of Krebs. Both officials immediately had their hands up, and as you mentioned, Zadorov leads the NHL in minors taken. The Bruins take more penalties than anybody else. And although the Sabre power play was only 21st, it can be really dangerous. They got a couple of guys. We talked about Thompson. Dahlin's another that can really shoot the puck. Keep an eye on Jason Zucker, who gets around the front of the net. He's got real good hands in tight.
Zucker's around that puck. He got it back to Jack Quinn. And it is a slumping Buffalo power play unit. Enter the postseason 0 for their last 22. Only NHL team that didn't have a power play goal for all of April.
I think they can get looking for Thompson's one-timer too much. They get spread out and they don't attack the net. The puck's got to get to the net.
They work it to Quinn on the entry. McAvoy in a big collision with Josh Norris, who is slow to get up.
He tripped over McAvoy's foot. He looks okay.
Dahlin out high. Looking for Thompson. Instead, it's Zucker. Zucker toward the net. Loose in front for Norris. Thompson. Dahlin to drive and Swayman the stop.
Oh, that's a pretty sharp glove save by Jeremy Swayman. As Zucker got the first shot into traffic, they wheel the puck around quickly for the Dahlin one-timer. Here's the play with Norris as he's going to go, and he trips over the hip of McAvoy and goes right into the boards. Morris has had all kinds of shoulder problems. Good to see that he's okay. There's the one-timer by Dahlin. He loaded it up, and Swayman in great position. That's a sharp glove stop. Sends a really clear message to the Bruins that their goaltender's on it.
49 seconds into this Buffalo power play. Dahlin out high, worked it to the goal line toward Tage Thompson. The boy hacking at him. Elias Lindholm couldn't fish it free. Now it's Dahlin, back to Jack Quinn. Quinn for Thompson. Thompson trying to stuff it home, and Swayman makes the stop. And all kinds of extracurriculars. Lindholm going at it with Jack Quinn. Norris has Zaka in a bear hug.
Lindholm's got both his stick and Jack Quinn's in his hand. The play off the Thompson drive to the net was stopped, the whistle blown, and as the Sabres are punching away at the puck, it ends up in the net, but the play has been waved off, of course. The Bruin, David Pastrnak is over talking to John McIsaac, the referee. He wants that face-off
There's
out
no
of the
goal in
zone.
the play. The goaltender was pushed into the net by the attacking player.
Pretty clear, pretty definitive from John McIsaac. And with the scrum, the face-off will come outside the zone. There's the save. And you can't jam the goaltender into the net as Zucker did.
Let's bring in our officiating expert, Dave Jackson. Jax, what do you see when you look at that push from Zucker on the pad of Swayman?
Mike, I think the referee might have lost sight or might have killed the play. But if he hadn't, it's also the right call. He pushed the pad across the goal line. The puck followed afterwards. You cannot, when the goalie makes his stand, when he has the goal pad on the goal line blocking the puck, you cannot push that pad across the goal line to have the puck follow it. So that's the right call.
Jax, thank you. Yeah, Ray, as you said, pretty definitive there. And so we reset it with 47 seconds to go on the Buffalo power play.
I like the initial drive by Thompson along the goal line to get it into the front of the net. You see how quickly chaos ensues.
This is the second unit, the speedy Ryan McLeod charging in. Swayman, another stop.
Ryan McLeod can fly. The Oilers picked him up the Sabres picked him up in a trade from the Oilers for Matt Savoy, who's had a really good first year in Edmonton. McLeod just explodes through the neutral zone. One of the game's quicker straight line skaters. He goes right around Hampus Lindholm. McLeod somehow doesn't have a power play goal this year, but he's got 5 short-handed goals. Swayman's made 3 or 4 really good stops in this initial period.
All part of 54 points this year for Ryan McLeod. 2 great seasons since that trade you mentioned. 30 seconds to go on the power play. It's controlled to Bo Byram. Back for Ryan McLeod at the half wall, down low. McLeod gets it back. Out high, it's Bo Byram. Set it off for Josh Doan, shadowed by Kastelik. One-timer changed direction on a tip on its way in. Kastelik couldn't clear. Here is McLeod. McLeod moving in. Kicked out by Swayman with the right pad. Kept in the zone to Alex Tuck. Tried to filter for Josh Doan. 7 shots on goal on that power play. And the Bruins counter with a big kill of their own. Byram tried to center, bouncing puck is stopped by Swayman.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Expedia is back.
Oh, boys.
Face off against family and friends. You could claim the ultimate prize. Sign up today at NHL.com/bracket.
Boy, Jeremy Swayman's been big. 13 saves here in the first.
Really great power play for the Sabres. It was a power play from varied attacks. They have traffic in front. There's Tuck off the McLeod shot. And Swayman's got to be in position because he can't really see it. But the Sabres, you mentioned, 7 shots on that power play. 2 or 3 of them really good ones. Remember, the initial one was Dahlin's one-timer, and Swayman snared that too.
So 3 to go in the first here in game 1. If you're just joining us, the Bruins got a goal from Morgan Geekie at 10:52 after David Pasternak had a shot blocked by Rasmus Dahlin. Winner of game 1 in a best of 7 wins the series 68% of the time. If you haven't heard by now. Krebs tried to bat it along. Yeah, we get an offside whistle. Let's check in with Arda in the studio.
Back to Canadians and Lightning, Mike. Juraj Slavkovsky, 2 straight power play goals to make it 3-2, but then a Tampa power play and his second of the game, Brandon Hagel. It is 3-3 in the third period with about 10 minutes to go in game number 1, Mike.
Arda, thank you. That is the second of the 4 games today on day 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Tampa's played a really physical style all year. They can run into penalty trouble, and Slavkovsky's got him a couple of times tonight.
Here's Fraser Minten down the left wing boards. Now who's Nadinov a shot? Tried to go short side and high and drew iron. Aspero kept it in toward the net, kicked out by Luukkonen. Tage Thompson starts it out toward Peyton Krebs, and Buffalo exits the zone. It's Krebs for Tuck, second on the team with 33 goals this year. He goes rink wide for power. One-time Timmins! 91 miles an hour on the drive from Connor Timmins.
The Sabres do not mess around. That puck goes to the blue line. They transition, attack it quickly. The Bruins will have to be sharp to deal with that. There is several options when they move that puck blue line to forward.
Luukkonen steered it off to Logan Stanley on the back end for Buffalo. Here's the speed of McLeod on the entry. Pulls up, dropped it back, gets it back from Quinn on this second line for the Sabres. Quinn in behind, tried to wrap it around, and we've got a penalty called for a hook.
Buffalo penalty number 17. Chris Rookie.
Right at the goal line, Jason Zucker was tied up to the left of Jeremy Swayman.
The puck got shot around the boards one way and then reversed back behind the net. Here's the hook as Pete goes to play the puck. Not much there, but the hooking call made, and the Bruins go to the power play here in the last 70 seconds of the first period.
As 7 letters of opinion serenade the officials in Buffalo. Puck kept in at the line by Charlie McAvoy. Skating off midpoint, tucked it around. Pasternak down low. Karam's out in front. Tuck can't clear. Luukkonen in the stop on Saka. Final minute, first period, game 1. A scene that has absolutely lived up to the sky-high expectations and a raucous atmosphere. Gloved down by the Sabres and a clear from Mattias Samuelsson. Top unit still out there for Boston. About 45 seconds in. McAvoy circled, got checked by Greenway. Elias Lindholm rims. Geekie got bumped. Fraser Minten stepped in with support. Pasternak, a shot short side, missed the net. McAvoy the pinch. Here is Minten. Final 10 seconds in the first. Scene. Geekie did not shoot the puck on the initial feed. He had a wide open net. Wow. Very close to making that 2-0. Boston instead a 1-0 lead at the end of 1.
Geekie had already decided to pass that to Elias Lindholm in the crease. Lindholm tipped it wide. Look at the empty net. He's already decided to pass it. If Geekie's head is up, it's a 2-0 Boston lead. It's not. He's got the only goal of the period, and it's 1-0. This is a terrific play by Minten. Luukkonen can't find the puck. He's staring at Lindholm's backside. That's a wide open net, and Geekie doesn't turn and shoot it at the goal.
So it's just 1-0, but the Bruins do have the lead on the Sabres. Let's get you to the studio. Steve, Mark, and PK, all yours. Now time for Game Drivers, brought to you by Geico and Ray Ferraro.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, like many of the Sabres, making his first playoff start. A little bit behind the play a couple of times. A whiff by Arvidsson, a crossbar by Nadinov. This is the one that's concerning to me. The pass from Minten to Geekie. He never sees the pass. He's behind the play. And if not for Geekie trying to pass it a second time, that's a 2-0 Boston lead. Luukkonen has to take a deep breath too, like a lot of his teammates. You get yourself into the series, now you just play goal, but he was behind that last play.
Ray Ferraro, Mike Monaco with you, and let's bring in Leah Hextall as well. Leah, as Boston continues on the power play here in the second.
Mike, I spoke with Breeze assistant coach Steve Spott, who handles the power play, and he says which makes the Sabres penalty kill so hard is it mirrors their 5-on-5 game. There's pressure all over the ice. He says you want to try and make them pay for their aggressiveness. So that means the Bees need support all over the ice, whether it's in the bumper position or along the half wall, in order to find the back of the net.
Oftentimes, Mike, a player will think he's open on the power play, but you're not open until you get possession. That's what Spot is talking about. The closer support, get the puck first, and then spread out.
Well, if you're just flipping over while waiting on overtime to begin between Montreal and Tampa Bay, welcome here to the start of the second period. Morgan Geekie scored about midway through the first, his 7th career playoff goal, and Boston's got carryover power play time. 30-plus seconds to work with. Elias Lindholm out wide, works it down low. Pasternak chips in behind. Pursued by Zacha, tangled with Tuck, and we've got a penalty call.
Now, it's going to be a Buffalo penalty. The evidence is that Pavel Zacha's stick is 70 feet away from where Pavel Zacha is. Oh, he's actually at Zacha's penalty. So I thought he got his stick slashed away.
Facebook. In 1 minute, walk off the earth. Knock him down is our anthem for anyone who's ever been. Ellipsis. Attachment.
There's the hold. Absolutely. The hold is there, and Zacha's stick is 75 feet across the ice. And so the Sabres will get their power play in 23 seconds. Remember that first power play, they had 6 shots on it. They were really dangerous.
So Zacha for holding. We get 23 seconds of 4-on-4 with Lindy Ruff's team down 1-0. Face off to the right of Jeremy Swayman, who was excellent in the first. 14 saves. The guys in the studio were talking about it, how big Swayman was. Face-off spills out the center, and Casey Middlestat skates to it. He pulls up on Owen Power, former teammate. McLeod freed it up, and in behind from Power to Byram. In the waning seconds of Jason Zucker in the box for hooking. Zucker stands up, pops out of the box, and a minute 33 of power play time for Buffalo.
McLeod had reloaded there so the Sabres could get this first group of their power play on the ice.
They get it off for Josh Norris, trying to slither through. Love down, kept in the zone by Rasmus Dahlin. Here's Norris, spins one back for Dahlin. Career high 74 points this year for Dahlin. Norris down low through the legs from Thompson, looking for Zucker. Here's a shot, Swayman gets a piece of that. Boston is able to clear. Norris peels back through center and turned it over. Corrali is gloved by Luukkonen.
A little bit of a sloppy play by Norris, and Luukkonen had to be away.
Given right to Sean Corrali, who let it fly, as Swayman will freeze it with 35 seconds to go on Zacha's minor.
Almost every team in the league loves the drop on the entry, and Norris's pass is a sloppy one. He's trying to go to Quinn, but he doesn't get it anywhere near him, and Corrali was able to jump onto the pass and get a shot on goal.
So 35 seconds left to work with for the Sabres. Face-off won by the Bruins. In the D-zone, back to Andrew Peak, who was able to get it to the line, but not out.
Great keep by Josh Doan.
Feathers one along for Bo Byram, a sidestep on Corrali. Now Ryan McLeod sauces back to the line. Doan to the wing for McLeod. McLeod on the turn, deflects that one off Nikita Zadorov. Up and out of play with 13 seconds remaining.
McLeod shot the puck 3 or 4 times from that left circle. In the first period, he had a great chance on the rush on the entry, but McLeod is a little bit more of a shooter on this second unit. I was surprised Lindy Ruff went away from that first power play group so quickly. Now they get a late face-off, so we'll see if they can get one more chance with them. He puts the puck line out, Puck, Thompson, and Krebs line out with 13 seconds left in the power play.
Down Byram and Dahlin, a pair of defensemen in the last few seconds. So good stuff from the Boston kill. They changed their structure on the penalty kill during the Olympic break. They went from a diamond to a hybrid, and the early returns were very good. And Buffalo struggles on the power play, now stretched to 0 for 24. Puck loose in front. Swayman got a piece of that, and Alex Tuck hounding.
They go to the switch because their personnel is better set up to not be attacking so much on the elbows of the power play.
Krebs got it back to the line. Byram a shot, did not get through, but keeps it in the zone. Byram pulls up, he uses Tuck, who goes skate the stick. Drop off Byram. On the exchange, he kept it from Dahlin. Byram toward the net. Swayman gets a piece of that. Popped up in the slot. Settled down by Krebs. Plenty of time in the O-zone here for the Sabres. Weaving through, poked out the stick up. Tuck with a good defensive play from Zadorov.
And Thompson sets up shop in front of the net. He's an impossibility to move for the Bruins.
Alex Tuck, his line mate, has called Tage Thompson a genetic freak. I cannot relate. Bounces down for Pavel Zacha, and he bounces this one in wide of UPL. Outlet pass to center, and Chaston trying to weave through. Got it back. Thrown toward the net. Swayman a stick save. Samuelson reached for it. Geeky springs. Pasternak. Pasternak! Denied by Luukkonen. Tried to settle that puck as he came bearing down on Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Samuelson seam pass intended for Norris. Benson in behind, checked by Lohrei. Boy, big-time chance for the Bruins. Geeky fed it ahead to Pasternak all alone. Lindholm, a shot goes wide. Josh Dunn, the fourth line center, connects with Mallenstein, and we get an offside whistle.
Now the Bruins get a chance, and it's their most dynamic player, David Pasternak. He's going to get this pass from Geeky, who beats Samuelson to the puck. When he miscues it, kind of takes away a little bit of the option he might have as he goes towards Luukkonen. Now he's going to try and go back. He loves the in tight deep. Pasternak's got such great hands. He'll push the goalie back and make that move in the crease, but he never really got a handle on it. He shakes his head on the bench as you don't get many of those chances.
Faceoff comes at neutral ice. Ryan McLeod against Fraser Minton. Brando, you said it. You liked how Buffalo managed all the emotions early. What'd you think of the Bruins game just overall in the first period?
I thought from a Bruins standpoint, you're going to get punched in the mouth early with this crowd. They did a really nice job in their enthusiasm with the Sabres. They handled it pretty well. I thought it was a good, actually both teams I thought had pretty decent first periods.
Hey, let's check out some upcoming NHL Stanley Cup playoff games. Our doubleheader here on ESPN continues tonight. You just heard from Mitch Marner with PK. Game 1, Utah and Vegas. And then tomorrow we got 4 games for you. Ray Ferraro is going to make the trek back to Pittsburgh. You know these roads very well by now, Ray.
Yeah, I just sit there and let Ivan drive. There's no chance I'm involved in any navigation.
You're a mechanic as well. You reported from the road when we chatted at about 9 a.m. that you had a cylinder problem in Ivan's car. That's no good.
Well, Ivan told me that. I don't know what that means, but we did get here.
In time for morning skate, I might add. Well done by you.
Yeah, Penguins are going to have to play a lot better, man. The Flyers were good last night.
Face-off controlled. Samuelson looking for a tip out in front from Zucker. McLeod kept it in, worked it along. Aspero the check. Seam pass out high. Dahlin a shot. Looking for a tip from Quinn. Loose in front. A scramble and a whistle.
And once the Sabres start on their cycle, their defense get involved. Mattias Samuelson's down by the goal line, and that opens up the whole blue line for Rasmus Dahlin to walk across from his right to left. And the whole way he's looking at the net, but he's also looking at the back door, and that's Jack Quinn. And if we need more evidence that Jeremy Swayman is dialed in tonight, there it is. That's a really good tip by Quinn. And another sharp on top of the puck saved by Swayman. He's been in excellent position tonight, and he's made a couple really good reaction stops.
Feels like Jeremy Swayman is always so fundamentally sound, and that just breeds consistency.
It does, and it also, he's one of those athletic guys too, but most of the goalies are now.
Kastelik frees it up back to Swayman, who covers up.
Pretty good little fencing match with Andrew Peeke and Alex Tuck right in front of Jeremy Swayman. When Swayman was drafted, he was 111th in the 2017 draft. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was the goaltender picked right in front of him. He was number 55. But the first goalie of that draft was Jake Ottinger. So this is two of the first three goalies of that 2017 draft.
Incredible when you think of it in that context, and those three guys all getting starts this weekend. Dahlin shot was blocked by Kastelik. Chanot fired and had his shot blocked. Kastelik took that shot off the skate, it looked like, from Rasmus Dahlin. Tuck goes rink wide. Here is Dahlin pulling up. Second-year Sabres captain. Got it down low for Krebs. Tates Thompson tried to move it. Alex Tuck protecting in behind. Flicked one back, batted down. Good stick, Sean Corrali, and the Bruins are out to center. Thompson up ahead, connects with Zach Benson. 20-year-old drops it off. Alex Tuck to the high slot. Bo Byram, a shot soars high.
The Bruins feel like they're on the chase here. Buffalo has entered the zone pretty easily in this second period. They enter it with multiple options. Their defense is up in the play every time. That time it was Byram as he came in and joined the rush to take that pass back through the seam. This is a speed issue. It's a communication issue that Boston's going to have to deal with.
Buffalo this period, 2 minutes, 21 seconds of ozone time. And you see the Bruins, 38 seconds in the ozone here in the second. Casey Middlestat goes cross corner with the dump in. Victor Arvidsson pursues. Middlestat took it back. This line has been so good for the Bruins all season. Lohrei toward the net off the stick of Arvidsson. It settles down for Josh Doan. Bo Byram for Owen Power, former first overall pick. He rims. Hampus Lindholm cuts it off, plays it back to Mason Lohrei. Chipped it around for Victor Arvidsson. He goes rink wide in the direction of Middlestat, who couldn't corral. The most anticipated game one of the entire first round in this city of Buffalo that was craving playoff hockey. Dunn speeds in. Got it down low to Beck Mallenstein on Lindy Ruff's fourth line. This is centered by Dunn because Sam Perrick, acquired at the deadline, is out for at least all of this series with his arm injury. Timmins fighting with Pasternak right in front of the Boston bench. And the Sabres back on it. Tapped along by Mallenstein, who was met by Lohrei. Andrew Peeke shuttles it along. Greenway cuts it off with his skate. Greenway in behind. Tangles along the goal line. That big-bodied frame got it around to Connor Timmins, who came pitching. Logan Stanley didn't get much on it toward the net, off his heels. And the Bruins get it out to center, and Pasternak for Elias Lindholm. Good stick. Timmins coming back from a broken leg he suffered back in December. Ryan McLeod bats it in behind. Zucker for Quinn, working on this Sabres second line. Quinn pulls up, try to get it toward the net, cut off by Mason Lohrei. Geekie wants an outlet. Lohrei skates it through center, and will dump it in for Boston as the Bruins change. Dahlin couldn't get it past James Hagan, the 19-year-old who played collegiately this year, sophomore season at Boston College. Puck in deep. Swayman steers it off. Jonathan Apr.19. Got it sent back in, and McAvoy runs it down for Boston. Apr.19 couldn't settle it down, and the Sabres collect out of their own end. Tate Thompson goes dancing through on the entry. Apr.19 delivers a check. Puck around toward the high-effort top-line winger Peyton Krebs. Andy Ruff calls him a workaholic on that top line.
Now, sometimes you get slotted into a line and your role becomes pretty defined. For Krebs, it's this: hunt, separate the puck, and get it in the hands of Tuck and Thompson.
Stanley Cup playoff debut for the former first-rounder of Vegas. Centering feed, Thompson could not trigger. He got tied up there by Fraser Minten defensively for the Bruins. No icing here. Crowd doesn't like it. And on the entry, here's Krebs, backdoor, and banned on by Norris as Swayman covers. And now a melee in the crease. Josh Stone right in the middle of it with Mark Kastelik and Tanner Jeannot.
Well, the Sabres, a quick chance, a quick up on what many people thought was going to be an icing call. They attack the net. Benson can't one time it through the Apr.19
skid forward, screen
it's still 1-0 Boston. Up, and he's right in front of the puck. This is the goaltender that's locked in, and the Sabres have had the better of the chances, out-cheating the Bruins by a 2-1 margin, but it's 1-0 Boston.
20 saves for Jeremy Swayman. Marco Sturmer said, our goaltending, he says, was absolutely outstanding. Big reason why they're at this point in the season. Mattias Samuelsson had that one swallowed up by Victor Arvidsson. Middlestat pursues. Samuelsson got a piece of it with some help from Rasmus Dahlin. Doan wrestled with Zadorov, and Doan, a hound on the puck, got checked by Andrew Peet. Benson took it back. Some contact up high. No penalty call there. And this brings Pastrnak. Pastrnak denied by Luukkonen. Wow!
Luukkonen's best stop of the night. He's got nose-to-nose with David Pastrnak. This time Pastrnak fields it cleanly. What a breakout pass here as Middlestat will grab the puck and go straight up the middle of the ice to Pastrnak. Pasternak's on the ice because Arvidsson had blocked a shot earlier in the shift. He takes it full stride, and Luukkonen stands his ground. A key stop here at 1-0 for Luukkonen to make.
Boy, we talk about the Bruins goaltending being so important this year. Ray, same thing for the Sabres. They had the third best save percentage in the league this year using 3 different goalies.
We talked to Lindy Ruff about it today. I said, is that becoming one of your strengths? He goes, no, it is our strength. Colton Ellis, Alex Lyon, and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen all have won significant games for the Sabres this year.
Lori has this one deflected behind Luukkonen. Good stick save on Pastrnak. You see, it's a far cry from last year. Sabres' second worst. Swayman had to be alert. That one ricocheted off Geeky with traffic net fronts. Well, let's check in with Arda in the studio.
Mike, overtime between the Canadiens and Lightning. Juraj Slafkovsky has 2 power play goals already with 20 seconds to go in overtime on the power play. He gets the hat trick. The Canadiens win game 1 in Tampa, 4-3, Mike.
Wow, how about that? Another road win in a game 1. Montreal in overtime. That's big time.
In a lot of ways, I'd prefer to start a playoff series on the road. It feels like there's always a little bit more pressure on the home team. You know, Philly goes into Pittsburgh and wins. Minnesota goes into Dallas and wins. Montreal here tonight. The Bruins have a lead. It just feels a little easier on the road because the expectations are a little different.
So if you're flipping over from that and joining us, welcome to a raucous atmosphere in Buffalo. Ray Ferraro, Mike Monaco, Leah Hextall, Dave Jackson with you. Bruins have the only goal in this game. It came in the first at 10:52. from Morgan Geekie after an initial shot from David Pastrnak was blocked by Rasmus Dahlin. And some good chances for the Bruins since then, too, with just the one goal.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Expedia is back.
Oh, boys.
Face off against family and friends. You could claim the ultimate prize. Sign up today at NHL.com/bracket.
The Sabres, the Atlantic Division champions after 109 points. The Bruins, the first wild card in the East with 100 points. As McAvoy got tied up with Benson off the faceoff.
Benson said his goal is to be hated in 31 rinks. We got a little Brad Marchand in him. Little guy, strong, tough, agitate.
Yeah, the other day, Tage Thompson lovingly called Zach Benson a rat. And apparently he told Lindy Ruff he wants to be even more of a rat tonight. Dahlin charging in, stretches wide, still with it. Dahlin's pass is deflected out to center. Mattias Samuelsson, stretch pass up ahead, able to connect with Doan, who got bumped by McAvoy. And the puck spills back toward Buffalo ice. Dahlin the rim. Around the railing. Puck pops out for Morgan Geekie. Bruins have their top line on the ice. Here's Pastrnak gliding in. Pastrnak sidestep the check from Dahlin. Still with it. Pastrnak carrying in behind. Tried to get it back to the line. Good stick by Doan, who broke that up. Inside of 8 minutes to go in the second period. Mason Lohrei to the red line and a dump in. Stanley pitches it out to neutral, and Lohrei gloved it down.
Both teams using all four of their lines in game one here. The Sabres have their fourth group on the ice right now.
Here's Dunn, who centers that unit with a shot that Swayman spots from the sharp angle and makes the stop. 7.5 to go. Game one in Buffalo. A city star for the playoffs, but it's the Bruins have the lead here in Western New York. And skates off to the bench. Tucked toward the net. Swayman gets a piece of that. Sorry to cut you off, Ray. No. And touched up by the Bruins, who will take the penalty here, and Buffalo goes to the power play.
Boston, number 26, minor penalty for holding.
Mike, we're starting to see Buffalo impose their abilities on the Bruins in the offensive zone. Peak is trying to handle Thompson. I mean, like, Thompson's so big and so strong. With his reach, he can get the puck away from the defender and force you into a penalty, which Peak takes. The Sabres have had a good power play and a not so good power play here. It'll be their third crack at it. A chance to tie the game again. One thing we've not seen, they've not found a way to get a Thompson one-timer away.
Seems like a lot of his positioning has been down by the goal line.
Yes, and as they've struggled over the month of April, you make some adjustments, you try and find better ways to create some chances, but one thing I would not want to take away is Thompson's one-timer.
Yeah, they're 0 for their last 24 now, including the start to this game. Hampus Lindholm took it away from Jack Quinn. Josh Norris on it, bumping with Elias Lindholm, who got it to the line, but not out. And now he clears. What have you thought of Boston's kill against this Sabres power play?
Well, outside of the first one, which was all Jeremy Swayman, I've really liked it. They've been able to be aggressive enough to deny possession like this. The entry is everything on the power play, and if you get stopped on the initial entry, the next one has to chip past the D, past the forwards. The Bruins got 3 guys lined up on the blue line here. Chip it past them and get into the zone. Now go get it.
Firing that time with Quinn on the rim. Ryan McLeod skating to it with Zucker, but Pastelik pried it free and bats it out of the zone. 14-year playoff drought, and already angst creeping in. A little frustrated with these entries.
Mike, as they rim the puck around, they get to the tie drop on the play, but they're all spread out. They don't have the puck yet. get it. Like right now, it's a 2-on-2. Where's the third forward? Here he comes, he's late, but Tuck's gonna get it.
With 20 seconds remaining on this third Buffalo power play. No shot attempts yet. Seam pass is broken up. Deflects off the glass and settled down by McLeod. Aspero clears to center and Jeannot slots it in. Now Jeannot peels off and pursues the puck. Tuck back on it. Last couple of seconds and Andrew Peak is out of the box and the Bruins kill it again. Benson in over the line. Here's Benson beating down low. McLeod net front. Sticked aside by Swayman. Geekie brings it down. He and Pasternak over the boards for Marco Sturm after the kill. Luukkonen left it in behind. And the puck springs free for Connor Timmins. Off the skate of Greenway. Byram flicks it back. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the second period. Greenway weaves in, played it off for Beck Mallenstein on the Sabres' fourth line. Greenway protecting the puck with his big body. Mallenstein wraps it around. Greenway on a puck retrieval. Back toward the net and gloved by Swayman. Four and a half to go in the second. Boston's penalty kill starring tonight in game one. Firsthand with the Buffalo Bills. This fan base, this city, the passion they have for their teams. He said, now we, the Sabres, get to do it here. Hey, on DraftKings Sportsbook, all customers can score a profit boost every day. Use the code SKATE to get in on the action. Ray Ferraro, Leah Hextall, Mike Monaco with you. Ray, what are the keys here for both these teams to close out the second period?
I think for Buffalo in particular, I would say just don't get frustrated. It's chapter one of a book, right? It's a 7-chapter series. This is the first game. You can't put so much importance in it that you start to panic. There's no need to panic. They've got 24 shots here. Just keep playing their game, play with pace, really push the Bruins. And for the Bruins, they can't just rely on Swayman here. They got to spend some time in the vicinity of Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. They haven't been there at all in this period.
Buffalo with so much time in the O-zone in front of Jeremy Swayman. And yet, a couple breakaways, partial breakaways for this guy, David Pasternak, here in the second. Trying to drag through on Samuelson and taken away by Buffalo. At the end of the first, Morgan Geekie had a great chance, did not pull the trigger. So Boston just up 1-0 on the Sabres and getting the great goaltending from Jeremy Swayman. Elias Lindholm gloved it down and Rasmus Dahlin back to it for the Sabres. Top line is out there for Buffalo and Lindy Ruff with Taves. Thompson getting it from Dahlin. Thompson, a shot kicked out by Swayman. And then Arvidsson controlled the rebound. Arvidsson motoring through center. He's had an excellent season after coming over from Edmonton. Pavel Zacha fighting for it against Owen Power and Taves Thompson. Puck pops out for Alex Tuck to play it along. Kept in by Zadorov to the corner. Middlestat through the legs towards Zacha. Tried to reach for it. Zacha one-timer goes wide of Luukkonen. Peek back around. Here is Arvidsson on the turn looking for Zacha. Off a skate. Zacha collects. Zacha wheeling, centering, looking for Arvidsson backdoor. Scooped up by Krebs and out to center. Krebs drifts in. Krebs with space. Teed it up for Tuck. And a return feed. Pops out to center ice. And more restlessness from the Sabre fan base.
And that's a great example of why sometimes it's easier on the road to start a series. Like these fans here, they waited 14 years for a playoff game. They want a goal. They want to celebrate. And it's just been so hard to find a chance to beat Swayman.
Here is Minton. Kept it. Minton, the shot gets swallowed up. Nicely defended by Jack Quinn. Yeah, we had to work our way into the arena pregame about 2.5 hours before. We were trying to dodge lines that were filled up just to get the crispiest Labatt Blue you could find.
They were ready, were they not?
You were like Thurman Thomas, just gliding through the rare openings. Puck deflects up and out of play with 1:51 to go here in the second.
Talked a lot about Tage Thompson's skill. Watch this pass off the boards by Dahlin. He's going to grab it off the boards, and then in one stride, he's in a scoring spot. That's a really quick release. Swayman again makes the stop, but the Dahlin pass goes off the boards. I don't know if I can describe how difficult it is. The puck's spinning as Thompson gets it. You've got to have the soft enough hands to stop the spin, but firm enough that the puck doesn't bounce away, and he does it perfectly, and Swayman beats him on the shot.
Boy, and how good has Dahlin been in what has been an emotional and trying season for him?
Just a well-told story about his fiance and the health issues that he had, and Rasmus leaving the team to go be with her in Sweden, and everybody's so supportive here in Buffalo. He's come back a 74-point year, one of the game's best defensemen. He'll be on my Norris ballot for sure.
He gets checked by Tanner Jeannot, puck in behind for the Bruins. Yeah, sending all the best to Carolina. We finally made it to a game here in late March, and the ovation was wonderful. Jeannot got checked. Kastelik did too on this bruising Bruins fourth line. Final minute in the second. Jeannot swings it back around toward Kastelik, tied up by Dahlin. Kastelik kicks it free with some space. Aspero gave it right back. Here's a drive from Aspero. That gets blocked by Beck Malenstein. 93 miles an hour, and Malenstein just ate it. And we get a hand pass called here with 39 seconds to go in the second. Hey, the Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Expedia is back. Make your picks and see if you can predict the playoffs before the brackets lock tomorrow. Sign up today, NHL.com/bracket.
Malenstein had to chew on that Aspero one-timer, and he makes the block as the Bruins finally get a little bit of zone possession. And man, oh man, I know they got gear on and stuff, but that's going to leave a mark.
Playoff hockey, we love you. Taken away at the line by Josh Norris. Feeds it back, Owen Power, final half minute. Power a shot, that gets blocked. Power got it back. Puck in behind for Benson. Benson carries, hangs onto it and feeds Norris. Norris' shot changed directions. Doan got a piece of it and got buried by Zadorov. Whoa!
That's the same as the Samuelson hit on Husnudinov earlier.
Doan right back up. Here's Power a shot and Swayman the stop.
Almost with disdain, Swayman just swats that out of the air. He takes away the scoring chance from Power. Norris' shot deflects off of Doan in front of the net. Swayman makes the save, and look out, here comes a 250-pound train as Zadorov goes right over top of Doan in the corner. But Doan jumps right back up. You talked about playoff hockey, you love it. Doan's back in the play and he finds Power. Look at Swayman, mine, turned aside. Now with just a second and a half left, Lindy Ruff pulls the goaltender. The Sabres have 6 players on the ice. They'll try and generate a shot here. McLeod's going to try and win it to Thompson.
They added 0.7 of a second off the faceoff. Thompson had it blocked by Arvidsson, who then had something to say to Tage Thompson at the end of the second. Jeremy Swayman has come up big. 27 saves for the Bruins goaltender, one of the game's best. Buffalo scoreless through 2 periods for the first time since late November. Bruins have the lead 1-0 in Game 1. To the studio, it's Steve Levy.
Talked to Buffalo assistant coach Seth Apr about, he says the Sabres need to dirty up the paint and make Swayman's life miserable. He's not talking about just standing around, getting numbers in, not making contact. He said with the rhythm that Swayman is in, it's the only way they're going to be able to knock him off their game and get a goal and tie this one here in the third.
Yeah, he is in an incredible rhythm. 27 saves through 2 periods and has kept Buffalo quiet. Third period is underway here in Game 1 from Keybank Centre. Puck lifted through center, past Alex Tuch. The only goal in this game came in the first period, about midway through, from Morgan Geekie, who led the Bruins in the regular season with a career-high 39. Puck out to the wall. Samuelson hacked at it. Instead, it's Zacha lumbering in over the line. Pavel Zacha on the turn. Zacha shoots, looking far post. Arvidsson parked in front. Aspero couldn't keep, and the Bruins have to touch up. Saw the note on the last Sabres playoff goal. If somehow you haven't heard by now.
Google, in 1 minute, India today.
Since 2011. This play's looking for something to cheer about here in Game 1. Zadorov swung it. Peek a shot. Did not get through cleanly. Bounces down for Morgan Geekie. Cycled with Pastrnak. Elias Lindholm to the line. Andrew Peek. Chips around for David Pastrnak. Net front off the iron from Geekie. Score! Elias Lindholm on the rebound. 2-0 Boston.
Lindholm had a much more productive second half of the season. This is the Bruins' top line. It's the most dangerous line. Geekie, Pastrnak, and Lindholm. Lindholm's way up on the sideboards, but he does not stay there. He attacks into the high slot, and after Geekie takes Pasternak's pass, man, those two have been at it all season long together. Geekie's shot hits the post, and Lindholm jams it home, in a crowd that's waiting to uncork sits quiet again. It's 2-0 Boston.
Elias Lindholm, who had 17 goals in the regular season. You mentioned how he started to heat up. Of course, the Bruins would change up who David Pastrnak was playing with. Again, it's this line, and again, it's on a second effort. First, it was Geekie in the first, and now Elias Lindholm here in the third. Puck is tossed out to center, settled down by the Bruins. Dadonov couldn't connect with Fraser Minten. And Josh Stone with it for Buffalo, now staring at a 2-goal margin. Big check at the line from Dadonov in the back of Josh Norris. Hampus Lindholm to center. He gets the red line and rims around the shelf and bounces down for Alex Tuch in the circle. What a performance by the Bruins. With great goaltending, they've got a couple goals from this top line, and the lead is 2. NHL calendar looks like this. We continue tonight with the Mammoth and the Golden Knights in Game 1, 10 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN. And then tomorrow, we've got 4 games for you on ESPN and ESPN2 starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then on Tuesday, 4 more, including Game 2 of this series at 7:30 Eastern right here on ESPN.
Lindholm, who just scored to make it 2-0, back on the ice for the draw. On the icing, you can select which side you want it on. Lindholm wants it on his strong side, on his backhand. The Sabres have a mismatch of players on the ice. Tage Thompson's blade came off his skate, so he's on the bench getting his skate tended to. Josh Dunn will take the draw against Lindholm.
Lindholm this year, 56% on faceoffs, 54% for his career, going up against an inexperienced player in Dunn. And Lindholm wins it. Bruins control, try to work it toward the net. Dunn gets the block and skates it out to safety. Swayman guides it off, dumped it into the corner, and around for Matthias Samuelson. Puck in behind, Hampus Lindholm shovels it up the wall for David Pastrnak, and the Bruins are out to center. Elias Lindholm for Morgan Geekie. He rims, here's Pastrnak near side with a reverse hit on Rasmus Dahlin. Pastrnak knocked the stick free from Dunn, who wanted a slashing call, and we do have a penalty coming here, and it is a slash.
And it will be on Pastrnak.
Boston penalty number 88, commit minus for slashing.
Fourth power play of the night for the Sabres here. Pastrnak in the boxes. He gets called for the slash. He reverse hits on Dahlin and then knocks the stick out of Dunn's hands. The most dangerous time to take a penalty is in those 1 or 2 seconds right after a puck turnover. Pastrnak commits an offensive zone penalty. Man, this Sabre power play's got to get him back in the game.
Buffalo's first power play had 6 shots on goal. Its last 2, just 1 shot on goal against this Bruins kill that's been big tonight. Rasmus Dahlin harassed by Sean Corrali through center. Toss back for Taves, Thompson. 3 times a 40-goal score. Thompson tried to bank it back to the line, didn't get there, and Kastelik
Edit controls.
Mike, one more thing on the Sabres entry. We've seen them have trouble get in. When you pull up at the top of the circle, the Bruins penalty killers don't have to go deep into the zone, so they can stay right up on the play. This is a power play that's completely disjointed at this time.
Came in mired in an 0 for 22 slump. It's now 0 for 25. And the Bruins get it clear with Hampus Lindholm. And this place is restless.
5 Sabres go to the bench. Their shoulders all sag. There's no energy. This group here now, the second group, simple. Get the puck into the zone and shoot it. But you got to do it with pace. They're stopping up way too early. This is way too easy for the Bruins.
Benson got it back. Seam for McLeod toward the net. Kicked out Swayman. And Chanot shovels out. I mean, there are boos here in game 1 for Buffalo back in the postseason. 14-year playoff drought. Everyone knows by now an NHL record. And anxiety caked all over this building. Alex Tuck in on the entry. Skates to it along the wall. Peels back for Byram. Tried to settle it. Plays it off for Benson. Down low below the goal line. Here's Ryan McLeod for Benson. On the back pedal. Shovels for Byram. Byram a pass. Here's Doan. Shadowed by Peak. Doan circles. Byram a drive and Swayman the stop.
When Byram is about ready to stop this shot, watch where Swayman slides across. He's had plenty of time to read the play. The puck's not moving quick enough. Watch Swayman as the puck will move around to his right. The shot is going to come right from there, from the dot area. Look at Swayman. He finds the puck. He takes a quick left look. He's already sitting there. That's not going to beat him ever. He's already taken a view, a scan, and now he's right on top of the puck again.
He's been enormous for the Bruins to win another faceoff. When they've been shorthanded, they've won 7 of 9 faceoffs tonight.
Well, there's one way to kill a penalty, right? You send them back down. They've got to regroup, work on the entry again, and it's not worked very well for Buffalo tonight.
And Buffalo, one of the worst faceoff teams in the NHL. They come up empty again.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Expedia is back.
Oh, boy.
Face off against family and friends. You can claim the ultimate prize. Sign up today at NHL.com/bracket.
Lindy Ruff hasn't seen his team score a power play goal in April. And it's been a factor tonight. 0 for 4 against the Bruins.
Searching for answers on the 19th day of the month. And game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dahlin, pump fake on Pastrnak. Dahlin toward the net, wide of Swayman. Puck bounces out, shot right on, and that one hit Jason Zucker.
They got him in the hand, and he's taking a look at his hand right now. That one stung.
And then Dahlin took contact right to the edge of the Bruins bench, and Jason Zucker is smarting.
The gloves the players wear now are much smaller, certainly, than when I played. There's nowhere near the protection in them around the cuff. This shot will come, and Zucker's trying to protect himself. That hits him up on that right, or left hand rather. You see him instantly shake it off. He's right to my right here. He was taking a look with the trainer at it. And between me and him is Rob Ray, the former Sabre, who's on the on the local here, I'll tell you, he was not very much fun to play against.
And he's still taking pucks from the between the benches position here these last couple years.
Yeah, we will not talk about that sort of stuff.
No, let's not wish that into existence for our color analyst tonight. Back to the line. Here's a shot that gets blocked out high by Victor Arvidsson on Tage Thompson. At the top line out there for Lindy Ruff. Jonathan Aspero banks one to center. Casey Middlestad, who jammed it along for Arvidsson, tied up by Connor Timmins. First 6 minutes, third period, the Bruins have doubled their lead to 2-0 here on the road, and they've quieted Keybank Centre. Both teams change. Charlie McAvoy to center and rims it around. Bounces down toward Fraser Minton on this youthful Boston third line.
How about this though? 2-0 lead, third period, game one, and these kids are on the ice for the Bruins.
Benson for Doan, shot right on, and Swayman had to locate and did. So 2-0 Boston is the lead in the third. 13:38 to go in game one. The Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN are presented by Geico. It feels
Utah's a dangerous team. Man, they can skate. Their first trip to the playoffs since they moved to Salt Lake City, and it'll be an exciting time for them too.
Year two, and they've been great. Offside whistle at the line with 13:30 to go here in the third.
Real easy to say, don't let frustration creep into your game here. As I'm standing here, easy to say, hard to do. And the Sabres had a meeting with Lindy Ruff right at the commercial break, and they were talking about offense. They were talking about creating in the offensive zone. And I know they have a feeling if they can get one, that the game will open up. But man, getting that first one has really proved a challenge.
On a night where Jeremy Swayman's got 28 saves for the Bruins, who've got a couple goals from their first line. Off the faceoff, came inside the zone. Luukkonen the glove save on James Higgins.
Luukkonen's been beaten twice, and it seems like that's a big number tonight for him. Geekie beat him in the first period, Lindholm here in the third, and it's hard to say that he hasn't had a decent night. It's just the fact of the matter is the guy 195 feet away is playing a lights out.
Whistles blow it dead right off the faceoff that the Bruins had control. For Marco Sturm's team, very impressive here on the road in game one. They've had an excellent season, 100 points, and since January 1st, since the new year, third best record in the NHL. They were only behind Buffalo and Carolina for best records in hockey the last 3.5 months.
A lot of it on the defensive side. They really struggled to score down the stretch. They didn't score anywhere near as much as they did earlier in the season. I would say it would be a surprise that the Bruins were 10th in the NHL in goals for this year.
And a lot of this season, surprising for those outside of Boston with what the Bruins did after the retool last year, the disappointment, only 76 points a season ago, last in the Atlantic, and tied for the worst record in the East. Higgins for Husnadinov. Husnadinov bolting in, kicked down Luukkonen. Marat Husnadinov had it swept around by Corrali. Lorei the pinch, and the sidestep into the corner. Corrali off the back of the net, settles down for the Sabres. Byram avoids Kastelik oncoming.
I would say Byram's been as good as any of the Sabres here in the last two periods on the blue line. He's really created some puck movement and some advancement up the ice.
4 in blue, always pairs up with Owen Power. Bo Byram had a career-high 42 points this year. Benson was moving in against Hampus Lindholm. Lorei shovels, Dahlin the back pedal. Rasmus Dahlin with a wrister through traffic. Rebound spits out for Samuelson. He gets checked in the corner by Kastelik. Hampus Lindholm fished it out in a patient play for Tanner Jeannot. And now Lorei to center. Lori went rink wide, found Kastelik. Kastelik cutting wide on Dahlin, who tangles with him. Elias Lindholm got it from Tuck, who takes it back. And Alex Tuck zooms in over the line. Tuck with a shot, soaring high on Swayman, who got a piece. Thompson couldn't get it through net front for Krebs. And the Bruins gathered through center. And Morgan Geekie lobs in. Stanley dropped it off for Timmins. Springs Krebs. Motors up ice. Will chip for Alex Tuck. Aspero steps in defensively. He swept it around the boards. Timmins tangles with Pasternak, and the puck spills out to center.
There is just not a lot of room right now. The Bruins are doing an excellent job defending this 2-0 lead.
9 minutes gone by in the third period. Puck around for Josh Dunn, centering Buffalo's fourth line. Jammed around by Greenway. Mallenstein toward the net. Comes on the near side of Swayman. Arvidsson fighting against Byram. Puck was wedged near Byram's skate. He got it free. Power a shot. Turned aside by Swayman. Power back to the line, and Byram couldn't handle. Boston changes. Byram up ice. Fires in. Blockered away by Swayman. Greenway shielding from Laura. Hampus Lindholm stepped to it. He got leveled by Greenway. Puck out for Dunn to the corner. Whipped it around for Mallenstein. A pinch from Power. He wins the puck. And Hampus Lindholm beats Greenway to it. And the Bruins try to exit. McLeod got in on the forecheck, but Boston able to vault out through center. Crowd stirs, trying to get something going for the Sabres. Down by 2. Quinn in behind, tangles with Aspero. Elias Lindholm exits the zone. Pasternak pursues. Charlie McAvoy cuts it off. And now Jonathan Aspero on the backhand for Boston, approaching the final 9 minutes in the third.
And this is the way you want to defend, and that's with the puck on your stick. Try and defend as much up the ice as you can, not back in your own zone. And the Sabres are just in their set here, and the frustration is just oozing out of the fans here in Buffalo.
Nearly 5 minutes without a whistle. Pass ahead for Josh Stone. A shot, and Swayman another stop as bodies come crashing into his crease.
That's Benson that's enveloped around Peak and Jeannot as he went sliding into Jeremy Swayman. Doan with the chance. Swayman with his 29th save of the night here. The chances have been there. There's been times when it looked like the Sabres were going to break through, but the fans have nothing to cheer about in Buffalo. It's 2-0 Boston.
Game. What did it look like? Help me out here with the telestration. You got Sergei Bobrovsky backing up our buddy Brian Boucher, Claude Giroux, Danny Briere, the Flyers general manager, another GM in Mike Greer, and still Lindy Ruff, the head coach of the Sabres, Ray.
It's pretty amazing Bobrovsky and Giroux are still playing out of all of that. And Lindy Ruff was the coach the last time they won a series here in Buffalo, and here he is back again as they break that long drought and now look for their first goal in this series.
On a night when all the talk was about the return of playoff hockey to Western New York, the Bruins have stolen the show so far. Alex Tuck, a shot, Swayman the stop. Puck bounced down for Tage Thompson, kept alive. Tuck on the turn, could not handle, but then he took it back and dumped McAvoy. Byram, a shot gets blocked. Aspero got a piece of it. Puck in behind. Rupert, score! Tage Thompson's got the Sabres on the board.
effort by the Sabres to keep this puck alive. Charlie McAvoy has the puck and he gets knocked off it by Alex Tuch. That's Thompson with the puck. He'll score. Look at the work by Byram to win the puck battle. Then it's Krebs to win the next puck battle. And the 6'6" Thompson, his feet are below the goal line, and he wraps this puck around Jeremy Swayman before Swayman can get back to cover the post. Oh, they've been waiting a long time for that, Mike.
15 years in the making. This place was ready to erupt. And then you saw the scrum after the goal from Tage Thompson.
These next couple minutes are absolutely critical. This place is on fire. The Sabres are going to have all this energy. Can they attack quickly? The Bruins will try to stand their ground. Interesting that Marco Sturm comes back and it's Minton, Higgins, and Huznadinov on the ice here moments after giving up the 2-1 goal.
Those fans outside on a 36-degree night here in Western New York. The Bruins lead cut in half. Samuelson, a shot got blocked. Puck side of the net for Zucker. The Bruins corral it and skated ahead with Lori. Tage Thompson at 12:02 with the assist to Peyton Krebs. Samuelson weaving for center and Minton the takeaway. A drop for Higgins. The 19-year-old James Higgins a shot. And Luukkonen goes up with a right arm to make the stop.
Every stop Luukkonen makes now becomes more and more critical. James Higgins gets a nice little burst up the right wing, and his shot forces Luukkonen into the stop, but Tage Thompson is the best Buffalo Sabre goal scorer.
Check out this note here, Ray. One multi-goal third-period comeback in Sabres postseason history. You might have heard about it before. Brad May in overtime.
Maybe one of the greatest of Rick Jeanneret's many great calls.
The famous Mayday call. Here's Doan around the boards. He pivots on the back end for Buffalo. Still 7+ minutes to go in the third. The Bruins protecting a 2-1 lead on the road in game one. Puck battle in the corner, swept toward the line, past Connor Timmins, and down toward Buffalo ice. Luukkonen steered it around. Stanley had it cut off by Geekie working hard. Zacha tried to swat it deep, collided with Norris. No penalty called there. Puck bounces out through center, and the Bruins have it with McAvoy. Aspero to the red line. Worked it deep ahead of Alex Tuch coming. Kicked down by the Bruins. And this place is alive once again. Tage Thompson back in. Stick handling out high. A backhand feed around. And the puck loose. Aspero batted it down against Krebs. Tuch leaning on Zacha. Puck out there. Thompson off the backhand. Fluttered it wide. Dahlin left point. Dahlin toward the net. Did not get through past Krebs. Inside of 6 to go and back out to neutral ice. Byram chips in for the Sabres. Laura nearly gave it away. Huznadinov got it to the line, not out. Dahlin on the back pedal into the slot. With a shot blocked by Swayman.
Tage Thompson has brought this arena back to life. His wraparound goal has made it 2-1 Boston. The fans outside get to cheer. The fans inside are on their feet.
Minutes to go. Boston up 2-1 on Buffalo here in game one. Ray Ferraro, Leah Hextall, Mike Monaco with you, and our entire crew behind the scenes. Puck lifted up by the Bruins. Couldn't get it past Byram, and then Huznadinov knocked it down. And he speeds in. The cutter is Hagens. Now who's the Dinov? Couldn't corral. And McLeod back on it for the Sabres.
Bruins want to get Lindholm's line, and it's who's out there, but they want him out against Thompson now.
Tage Thompson and that top Buffalo line is out there. And the Bruins countering with Elias Lindholm's top line for the Bruins. We get icing with 4:51 to go.
Zadorov was looking for a tip from Pastrnak down the wall. He couldn't see it, and it went for the icing. So fortunately for the Bruins, if you will, it's their best face-off guy, Lindholm. But he's out against Thompson. Thompson's on his strong side. His backhand is to the boards. That's an advantage here for Thompson.
And Thompson wanted to tuck. Owen Power gives it off. Here's a shot. Swayman fights that off on Mattias Samuelsson. Pastrnak with a strong play to outlet for Elias Lindholm, who chips for Geekie. And Geekie works it deep. Pastrnak tried to work it around. Cut off there. And carried out by Owen Power. Tuck in over the line on the entry. Got it wide. Samuelsson joins. Right on. Rebound loose in front for Tuck. Tuck delivers the check. He plays in behind. Thompson takes it back. Scores! We're tied!
Thought it was loud before. How about now? The Sabres entered the zone. Andrew Peeke is going to have time to make a play right here with the puck. He tries to reverse it, but Alex Tuch's effort pushes him off the puck, and then Thompson's able to put it into the net to tie this game at 2.
What a comeback from the Sabres. And this place is absolutely rocking. Who else but Tage Thompson to get 2? Luukkonen gloves the shot from McAvoy. Boston's fourth line mixing it up with Logan Stanley and Connor Timmins in front of Luukkonen.
Tuch has done the hard work, the shovel work. He gets out and finds Thompson with the puck. Look at the work by Tuch to turn that puck over. Swayman's first mistake of the night as Pat comes off the ground, it goes into the net, and as this swarm of players is buried behind the Sabres net, Francis Chiron is the referee, and he'll sort out here. And the Bruins' fourth line was on there, and there's Benson at the bottom of the pile.
He gives Tanner Chenot a smirk on the way off toward the penalty box. Luukkonen made the glove save on McAvoy, and then everybody getting into it with Tanner Chenot and Logan Stanley starting it.
A couple of swats, and then that attracts everybody else into the fray. And
Valley's on the play, 47 and 52 for Boston. Number 21 and number 6 for Buffalo. 2 each for roughing. 5-on-5. 5-on.
So there will be a 5-on-5, as you heard. The face-off will come outside of the Buffalo zone with, I believe they're drilled out with everybody inside of the dots. They're having that discussion now. Actually, this is a pretty big decision here with just 3:48 left. The referee went over and talked to the linesman, the official that was outside the blue line. He had the good look and said, no, the defenseman stayed outside the top of the circle. So that'll be an offensive zone face-off here. Obviously very critical in what is now a 2-2 game.
Benson and Timmins in the box for Buffalo. Kastelik and Corrali for Boston. Zacha against McLeod. Zacha wins it off to the wall. Samuelson delivers the check on McAvoy. This building is berserk right now. McAvoy swatted to keep. McLeod carries up ice and tosses in. Stick breaks on the back end for Hampus Lindholm. He gets a handoff. Here's a pass. A shot. Score! Martin Samuelsson! Absolute madness!
Samuelsson, a career year for Mattias Samuelsson, 13 goals. Quinn's pass gives Samuelsson some room. Swayman can't react, it's 3-2. This all started when Hampus Lindholm's stick inexplicably broke behind the net. He couldn't clear the puck, and the Sabres have stormed back here. 3-2 Buffalo.
There's the pass for Zadorov. A shot goes high and wide. James Hagen's back on it for the Bruins. Hagen's to the line. Zadorov wiggling with a shot wide of Luukkonen. 3 goals in 4:34. The last 2 come 52 seconds apart.
The Sabres got 55 goals this year from their defensemen. That's second in the league. Mattias Samuelsson gets their first from the blue line core in the playoffs, and they've got the lead.
Pasternak's pass didn't find Elias Lindholm. Banked along to center. Lindholm on the turn. Pasternak, a pass out high. McAvoy cut off by Malenstein. Geeky the key. Puck around for Pasternak. Toward the net. Loose in front. Hampus Lindholm on it. Tried to set up Geeky, and it spills back toward Boston ice.
Number 23,
Zacha tied up on the entry. We hit 2 minutes to go in the third. Zacha settles it. Zacha darts in. Zacha struck to the puck by Zucker. Quinn lobs it up and out for Buffalo.
Getting close here. Swayman's got to get out of the net within the next 20 seconds or so. Here he comes.
Swayman bolts to the bench. Moore got ducked by Byron. Out high, Middlestat wide of the net. Pasternak down the wall against Tuck. Middlestat the key. Here is Pasternak, enveloped by Tuck. Pasternak sends one ricocheting into the circle. Thompson backs ahead. Tuck is on it. Score!
Alex Tuck talks about going to the last Sabre playoff games as a kid, and he's going to put this one on ice. He takes the bank off the boards from Tage Thompson. Tuck's made it 4-2. Tage Thompson's got 3 points in this third period, and the Sabres throw a 4 spot as the bench gets to celebrate a Game 1 remarkable comeback. Down 2-0 after Elias Lindholm's early goal in this period, and a 4 spot, 4 straight by the Sabres here at home.
Alex Tuck is from Baldwinsville, New York, near Syracuse, a little over 2 hours away. self-described Sabres fan since he was 3 years old. Just made it 4-2 in game one. A moment 15 years in the making. 4 goals in 6 minutes and 46 seconds, and just wide from Doe. Kuznetsov has this one go past him for an icing whistle with 37 seconds to go.
Mike, we spent so much time talking about the quietness in the building after the Sabres fans started to get frustrated. That power play went 0 for 4. Now it's turned into a party. This is what they waited for. This is what they hoped for. A 4-2 lead here late in game one. A remarkable third period comeback.
Face-off one back to Connor Timmins. Oh, they're going to be going through the tables like at Bill's tailgates deep into the night. Tops in the strip. Swayman just went off to the bench. Final 20-plus seconds here in Buffalo. Hampus Lindholm taken down, and this is a tripping penalty on Tage Thompson with 18.5 seconds to go.
Buffalo number 72, minor penalty for tripping.
When the Sabres were trailing 2-0, it was a lot of Jeremy Swayman. Then Tage Thompson scored twice as we get a look at his penalty. The Bruins defense came apart in the third period in that 6-minute stretch. McAvoy didn't get a puck out. Pete got beat on the boards. Lindholm stick breaks. All of a sudden it's bang, bang, bang. It's 3 goals, a Sabre lead, and then Tuck puts the empty netter away for this 4-2 lead.
How about the moment for Mattias Samuelsson, too? At the home opener this year, a guy who's had some difficult moments, he got booed by his home fans. Pastrnak clubs the pass, backhand, score! With 6.2 to go, the Bruins cut it to 1.
So that'll be a power play marker. Pastrnak turns and just throws it to the net. It deflects on its way in, and Luukkonen is not going to be able to get a handle on it. Pastrnak loses it once, and this is going to hit Malenstein, I believe, on the way in. And we'll get a better look at it here. Pastrnak spins, it goes through, it deflects. Man, it's either Zacha, Timmins. In any case, it bounces by Luukkonen. And there's just 6 seconds left here, 7.2 left.
Face-off swatted ahead by the Sabres. And a celebration 15 years in the making is on. A Game 1 comeback win for the Ages.
A stunned Boston Bruins, a 2-0 lead, the game seemingly in control, and then in 6.5 minutes, Lindy Ruff and the Buffalo Sabres have their first win of the 2026 playoff.